with our today's session. Yep. So what actually we had understood in our previous session was regarding the information gathering phase. So basically, whenever we will be gathering or basically whenever we will be taking up the information from that particular executable file or from that application, right, which will be helpful for our future analysis, definitely that is what will be validating within this particular phase. The first thing which we had understood was regarding the portable executable, what actually are these headers and how actually they will be able to use or we will be able to make the use of them, right? We had understood how we will be able to utilize a CFF Explorer for this. It will be giving up all the details to us. We will be gathering the information which are specific to imports, right? The architecture, and all of when actually it was developed and modified, the version of the application. So those overall information regarding the application will be taking up from this particular place. Second thing which we had understood was regarding the application code, right? So in this scenario, we will be going forward with those of those specific the application code and the sensitive functions, right? Like sign up, changing password, register, going forward with our login, and we will try to validate what actually is the code or what actually is the logic behind it, and we will try to modify the same. So these were the first two steps which was available. Any doubts, any queries till now? Anyone? No? Yes, Anuradha.
No doubt.
No doubts.
Yeah,
Okay,
we can proceed.
sure. Let us jump to our next step, which will be reviewing the ASCII code, or basically the Unicode characters which are available within the application. Now, what actually happens is whenever we are having those specific applications, typically when we had understood, whenever we will be going forward and we will be converting, whenever the developers are converting that particular code in the executable files, right? So at that point of time, typically there will not be any specific way unless we are decompiling and disassembling, which is specific to some of the applications only, right? So at that point of time, normally we will not be able to get the real-time code of the application. So in this scenario, what we will be doing is whenever it is converted into the executable file, there will be few things, like very few things, which will be in a readable format, right? So what we will do is we will go forward and we will take that executable files, and what all are the things which are in a readable format. We will see that particular things and we will understand that whether there is any particular type of things which can be helpful for us or not. Many times what we will be getting is, or actually what we are going to look within this particular things will be any type of comments which contains the sensitive data. Typically, developers tend to have sensitive data within the comments, although it is recommended not to, but they tend to have explain more within the comments. They tend to add the sensitive data within the comments, right? Many times you will be finding the admin credentials or any particular type of credentials within the comments. Many times you'll be able to find internal IP addresses. Many times you'll be able to find tokens, right? All the keys and those specific type of things. We'll be seeing that things will be validating whether there is any particular type of data which has this information or not. Along with that, we'll be looking within our system that what actually are those our system files which it is dealing with, right? Many times it might be creating some specific type of temporary folders, temporary files where it might be storing some specific data, right? That data might be sensitive, might not be sensitive. So those kind of things we'll be looking at with our tool, right? To go forward and to extract out the ASCII characters or Unicode characters and validate whether anything which is the sensitive things which we are able to find that within our application or within that particular executable file or not. So the tool which we are going to use here is called a strings tool, which is officially from Microsoft Sys internal suite, right? Microsoft Sys internal suite is list of tools which are help us and the IT admins to perform much more task than the normal. And basically that is what we'll be having here it as well. We will be utilizing that particular thing itself. Again, the tools links and everything is available already in the PPT, right? So you can just go ahead, click on that link, download that tool, and you are good to go. Now, before jumping into that particular part, let us see how that executable file will be looking like. So basically, we will go to our downloads, and that particular application which we were testing, the same application we'll be utilizing for today's demonstration as well. What I will do is I will just right click on this file and I will try to open it with the notepad. So basically either notepad, and we will see whether there is anything which we can get it or not, right? So just to understand how actually that file will be looking like. So I will just go ahead and I will open it, and this is how the typical executable file will be looking like. Previously I was telling you guys, right, that whether the program is running on DOS mode or not, that particular thing will be available. So here you can see this application has the program cannot run in DOS mode, and same thing, it is supporting this architecture, so that is why it shows this particular thing. But typically it will be looking something like this, where we will not be able to understand anything, or we will not be able to review the code, right? Because of the privacy reasons. If I'm able to see all the code here itself, definitely I can copy the code also. So this is how it will be available. Now there might be few things here. You can see there is one R and there is one 3 and the bracket and those kind of things. There might be bits of some things which might be in a readable format, right? Except that there will not be anything which will be in a readable format. So here you can see it will go all the way down. If we go all the way down, there will be only few things which we see, but again it does not make sense at all, right? If we get together and check what actually it tries to mean, definitely we will not be able to understand anything. Now, to go ahead with this particular thing, what we will be doing is we will be utilizing our strings tool and validate what actually are the details which are available. What we will be doing is I will just go ahead and click on that link. We will open it. I will open the browser. We will download the thing. Download that particular tool, and here there will be the download button, and also all these particular tools will be very less or small in size, so definitely we will not be having any issues in this downloading these tools and everything. We will just extract it, and again this will be a command line tool. So at that point of time, we need to open the command line, and then we need to execute this particular tool. Typically, if we open that command line and then go to this particular path and then come back, right, and then give the path of our executable file, right, it will be a bit more process. So what we will be doing is I will just click on this empty space in the path here. It will by default select the full path. What I will do is I will remove full of them. I will just enter CMD, right? And basically what it will do is by default, it will open the command line in that path, right? So I will be saving some of the steps by going to the terminal, doing CD into that particular path, and then execute the tool. Now we will be entering the name of the tool, which is strings.exe, and then we will go ahead with the place where our application was there. So here this is where my application was available. So I will take the executable file, and basically I will drag and drop that executable file here. So by default, that particular path also will be automatically populated. So I do not have to write down anything manually, and it will save me much more time. Just for your convenience, I will just try to increase the font size so that you can see all the details clearly, and then we can execute it. So this is how the command looks like. First one is we have opened the command line within the same directory where our tool was available. we had executed, we had entered the tool name, and then we had entered the path of the executable file which we want to test. We will just execute that particular tool. It will ask us for, if we are executing it for first time, it will ask us for the license agreement. We will click on agree, and basically what it will do is the data which we were seeing in that notepad file, right, where all the other characters and unreadable characters are available, and the characters which are readable were available. It will remove all those unnecessary characters, and whatever are the things which can be in a readable form, it will extract out those specific things, and it will show the same details with us. Let us wait for some time to go forward and complete for the tool to complete its own process, and then we will see what actually are the things which make sense, right, and whether it is important for us or not, or whether actually it is a sensitive data or not. We cannot make sure that all the tools or all the applications will be having the sensitive data, but wherever developer has made that kind of mistake where they have entered the sensitive data within the code of the application, and if it is in readable format, definitely that is where we will be able to identify those details and will be able to make sure. So now you can see many of the readable things are coming up. Definitely we can check it manually, and we can validate whether those specific things are usable for us or not. Now one thing will be, many times there will be loads and loads of data which will be coming up, right, and typically it might be hard for us to identify and go through that much data as well, right. And if we are reviewing it in a terminal or this command line, definitely it might be much more hard for us to see that particular details and understand and go back and forth, right, and there is no specific search option also. So all of those specific type of things might be challenges for us. So what we'll be doing is we'll be extracting out all this particular information into one file, and then we will be opening it in our notepad or notepad plus plus, whatever you are comfortable with, and definitely we can go ahead and search for the sensitive data which might be available within that particular option as well. So first of all, we will just wait for few seconds for this to complete its own analysis, and then we will go forward and execute one more command where we will be storing all these particular contents within one of the text file, and then we will analyze that text file within our notepad or notepad plus plus or any of the text editor, and we will be able to search it across as well, and we do not have to review all these details which are available.
सेंसिटिव डेटा मतलब क्या सेंसिटिव डेटा?
ये वाला।
ओके, बट इसको सर्च करते वक्त ऐसे ही सर्च करेंगे क्या?
हाँ,
आईपी टोकन, इसका नेमिंग कन्वेंशन भी कभी कभी अलग हो सकता है ना?
नेमिंग कन्वेंशन अलग हो सकता है, पर टिपिकली हमारे पास जो कमेंट्स रहते हैं ना, ये सारा डिटेल्स जो है ना एग्जैक्टली कोड में नहीं जाता, वो मोस्टली कमेंट्स में जाता है। कमेंट्स में ओवरऑल सेम ही रहता है कि यूज़र है, पासवर्ड है, वही है। ओके, ओवरऑल हम रिव्यू भी कर सकते हैं स्क्रॉल करके, तो उतना उतना मतलब टाइम कंज्यूमिंग नहीं रहता।
इसका कोई ऑटोमेशन टूल है जो फाइंड करके दे सकता है?
ऑटोमेशन टूल इसका नहीं है कोई।
ओके।
So basically, to save everything in one particular file, what we'll be doing is we will just enter the double angular brackets, and basically then we will be entering one of the name of the text file, which is strings.txt. Again, it will be storing in the same directory where the tool is open. We will just execute it. Here you can see it has completed in few seconds. Let us just open it within the directory and see that file is there. So here you can see the file has been available. We will click on open, and here you can see this particular details are there. Now what we will be doing is we will just go ahead and first of all we will search up whether there is anything, any high level details we are getting up or not. So at that point of time we will go ahead and we will check that font, and let me just increase this fonts. Yeah. So typically what we'll be doing first is we will be checking for those specific things. We can check for pass or password or those kind of things. We can just go through next. Here you can see there is one function which is pass. password, get password, so not useful for us. If there is anything where the password is actually available, right, so those kind of things we can go ahead and look for, but these all are functions which has been called, so not that much useful for us. We can check for the user or user ID and those specific type of things, just user, and it will give us all the details where the user is available. So again, the functions are there. We can check for the IP or IP address, and whether there is any specific type of IP address or those kind of things are there. Okay, and we can validate whether there is any specific type of URL or not, right? Now, what happens is, many times you'll be able to get those specific type of things, but in case, for example, in this particular tool, we are not having those specific type of details which we have directly found from the searching itself, right? So at that point of time, we need to manually look and validate that what actually are the details, whether there is anything which is beneficial for us, and which contains some kind of sensitive data or not. So those kind of things we'll be doing. So what we will be doing is we will just overall scroll down. These all are the things which are not in an understandable format or even in the readable format. Typically it will not be, we will be just ignoring this part because anyhow it does not make sense, and it will not be useful for us. We will just directly jump out to that particular place where there is the things which are in a readable format and which make some sense. So for example, it starts from here, so we can just go ahead and scroll down. Here there are all those specific functions which are called. Functions are not that much useful because anyhow we have seen those specific functions within the application as well. So not that much things which can be useful for us. Again, we will be looking into those specific things, whether there is any kind of the sensitive data which we had discussed or not, right? So those kind of things will be validating. So here you can see there is MD5, so it might be taking up the MD5 hash and those kind of things, and it might be storing. But yeah, in case if anything is exposed into this particular file, then it will be helpful, and we can directly report the same thing from here. We will also be checking for internal files, whether it is dealing with any kind of internal or system files or not, whether it is creating some kind of temporary folders or files. So that path might be available here. We can go ahead and manually check what actually are the things which are going on within that particular path. But yeah, if those specific things are found out, definitely it will be helpful. Now here you can see also these are other set of functions which are available. We can just skip on to them. Again, there are set of functions. There is no specific data which is available. So at that point of time, it is fine for us. But yeah, this is the thing which we need to manually check and validate whether there is anything which is available or not. Typically, the applications which we see, there might be the long set of data like this one, but it is very rare. Typically, we will be seeing very less data, which is having very less set of lines, and it will be much more easy to just scroll down and validate whether there is anything which we might find in a sensitive manner or not, right? And based on that, we can directly go ahead and report the same thing as well. Let us quickly scroll down and check whether there is anything other than functions which can be helpful for us in this one or not. If not, that is fine for us. If we have found, we can just directly take the screenshot, and we can report the same thing as well. Likewise.
Keval, I have one question. Like,
Yeah.
this application is using MD5 signature, MD5 hashing algorithm.
Correct.
So, in this case, for the desktop-based application, which algorithm we should, hashing algorithm, I mean, we should suggest? Is it a SHA-2, SHA-1, or SHA-3? Because they have this 256 and all other the bit, increasing the size of the bit, so that it will be difficult for brute forcing or identification kind of thing.
Correct. So the one which we'll be recommending here will be SHA-256, right? But along with SHA-256, we will be recommending them to have the SALT as well. Okay, and basically that particular salt should be XORed with the 𝗧 with the specific value, and that particular resultant value should be stored. So this is the recommendation which we will be having. Right. So basically now in case what happens is, let us understand what actually is salt and how this particular methodology works. Typically what happens is, when it comes to any particular type of fast word, first of all, let us understand what actually is 𝗧, then we will understand what actually is salt, and then we will understand how we will be storing the values. Whenever there is this kind of things, which is encryption, right, hashing, encoding, these are the ways from which application will be, or basically the data can be secured either during the transmission or during the rest. Whenever we will be storing the passwords, right? So basically, typically it will be stored within the hashing format itself. Why? Because hashing will be used as a one-way hash. There is nothing like dehashing. Okay, so whatever are the details which are hashed cannot be reverted back into the original format. Whereas if you go to the encryption stage, typically encryption can be it will be having decryption as well, where the encrypted thing can be gotten in the plain text if we are having the specific key. Now passwords, we don't want passwords in a clear format. I just want to verify whether the password is correct or not, right? So for verification of that particular password, I don't need it in a clear format. So basically here we will be using always the hashing algorithms itself. Now in hashing, there are multiple algorithms, which is MD5 is there, right? There is 𝗧, and there are loads and loads of other hashing algorithms as well. They will be doing almost similar thing, like they will be hashing those specific things, but in a different manner. Now what MD5 is the broken one, right? As you guys might be knowing, 𝗧 will be the one which is currently recommended. But what actually happens here, for example, once this is the password which I am having, right? Once I implement the specific hashing algorithm, for example, 𝗧512 or 𝗧256, which are recommended one, the resultant value will be something which will be the specific something like this. Let me just show it to you guys and do it, right? So basically, let us go forward and create one of the file. Let me go to the desktop, and what I will do is I will enter one of the password, and I will just keep it as a password, right? I will just save it up, and I will exit. Right, so basically if we go ahead and see this particular file, there is this password, right? Now let us go forward and take the 𝗧256 hash. So what actually will happen is, this is how the 𝗧 will be looking like. Now this value will be very much unique to this particular data, which we are having. Now if I do any minor modification in that data, the full hash will be changed. So let us just go forward and open that file. What I will do is I will just do a minor modification is I will just enter a full stop there, right? What I will do is I will just go ahead and save it. I will exit it, and let us take another hash, right? So at that point of time, for the password dot, right, what will happen is, basically at that point of time, here you can see just we had entered one specific another character, the full hash has been different, right? So definitely what will be happening is it will be very much unique to that particular data, right? The data which is available, it will be unique. Now this hash will be unique to this particular string itself. So now what our operating system applications, whatever they will be doing, right, they will not be storing the exact password. They will convert that particular hash, and that hash will be stored within the database or files, wherever they are storing. Later on, whenever we are going forward with our login page, once I enter the password, our application or operating system, wherever we are entering of the password, it will convert that particular string into that hash, and that both of the hashes will be matched, that whether the hashes are exactly same or not. If not, it will show us that the password is incorrect, and if yes, it will be showing us that password is correct. Now here there is one of the catch. What actually happens is, Anyhow, this SHA hashes or any hashes, right, which we are having, they are one-way hash. Means once I get this value, I cannot revert back to the original text which was available, which was something like password here. So I cannot revert back from this hash to this. I cannot extract that particular thing with some set of keys or anything like that. But what attacker can do is attacker can crack that particular hash, right? They can do the brute force and they can hash. They can crack that hashes. So at that point of time, what happens is they will be taking a set of the hash, right? For example, if this is 128-bit or 256-bit, right? So basically at that point of time, they will be taking the set of it and they will start brute forcing that whether this is A, B, C, and what actually this particular value is. They will start brute forcing. They will start the capital letters, small letters, or the special characters, and whatever are things it is matching, they will be able to identify that okay, there is some set of this particular algorithm which is used, and this particular value is similar to a specific this value, right? Likewise, they will be able to go forward and crack all the specific parts of this particular hash, and they will be able to ultimately convert those things. Now, what all algorithms are already broken? MD5 is already broken, so that is the main reason why it is not recommended. Still, SHA is not broken, but again, with the brute force, we can go ahead and we can take out the string. So to make it more secure, what we will be recommending is using of the salt. What actually is salt? Salt is another set of random value which acts as a key for the application. So for example, what will be happening is the first set of this particular part will be the password which I am entering. An application will be converting it into a specific hash, and that hash will be available here. Now, on top of it, what application or our operating system will be doing is it will be creating a salt. Salt is nothing but a random value, which will be having the similar length of the password. So I'm having this particular password. I will just create a specific length of a random value. For example, this is my random value. What it will do is it will be creating that particular hash again within the same particular algorithm. So at that point of time, let us go forward and create that one. We will just go ahead and save it up. And again, at that point of time, we will take the hash, and this is the hash, right? So at that point of time, what it will do is it will create that particular hash, right? And both of the hashes will be merged with each other. But here, the main thing will be many times developers, what they do is, okay, we have created that particular password hash, we have created the salt hash, right? And after that, they merge with one by one. So basically what they will be doing is they will be entering something like the hash of this one, which is password, and then the hash of this salt. So it is not at all useful, because again, at that point of time, I can crack this one, I can crack the full thing of the password, and then I can crack this salt as well. So this will not be the thing which they should be doing for merging. What they should be doing for merging is they should be taking up XOR. So at that point of time, both of them will be totally merged. It will be the resultant value will be something like that, this one, right? So at that point of time, it will be much more harder for that particular attacker to go forward and get that particular details out of it, right? So even though they are doing the brute force, normally they will not be able to do, because both of the things are totally merged. Now, what will happen is until and unless this salt is not with the attacker, which will be very much sensitive, and every of the password will be having different salt. For example, today I have entered, or I have logged in, I have registered to the application, I will be given a specific separate salt. If Kunal has created a separate account, he will be getting a separate salt. So until and unless the list of salts are not gotten up for the attacker, like by the attacker, they will not be able to get the full hash, okay, and they will not be able to crack it as well, right? So basically, this is what we will be recommending.
Actually, I have one question.
Yeah.
When they want to retrieve, for example, for the password validation, today I have added one password, let's say 1234. System calculate the using that algorithm, 𝗧𝗿𝗶𝗶 password get calculated, and the random string is there because the random string is unique for each and every people.
Correct.
So how the application comes to know, okay, this is the random string from for Anuradha, this is a random string for
It will
Cable
be
and other.
storing that particular hash in its own database or secrets where it will be available. So that
Okay.
particular salt which will be matched, for example, user ID 1, there will be the string, or there will be the specific salt of user ID 1, user ID 2 separate. Likewise, it will be
Okay,
having
so
that.
we need to store that also in
Correct.
some secret, may not be a database, or how
Correct.
they are generally storing. What should be the standard practice to store that?
Standard practices, they should be storing it the data, the same, they can store in the within the same database, right? Or if they are having some, they are using some cloud technology or something, they can store in the secrets folder which they are having. But
Okay.
the main thing should be both of them should not be in the same table. So basically, if I'm having table called passwords, in the same table, in one column I'm having password hashes, in the second column I'm having the this salt which is stored, right? So those kind of things should not be there. They should be in the separate folders, and if possible, they should be in the separate databases. Likewise.
Okay. Okay, great.
Okay. Yep. So likewise, we will be going forward, and we will be having, we will review all of this. Again, there are this particular data which is shown up in the application itself, and those specific type of things, very normal data. Many times you will be able to see this particular type of data which is available, right? Which is which does not have any kind of sensitivity. But yeah, we can go ahead and validate. Here you can see URL and file and those kind of things are there, but the actual URL is not there. So again, it is not that much useful for us. Likewise, we'll be going forward and seeing there is one another URL, again, that is not helpful for us because this is nothing like their internal IP address or internal URL or those kind of things. So again, those specific things will not be that much helpful. Again, there is this functions itself. So basically those specific things are available. There is this kind of hash string is there, right? If you see last time equal to, this will be typically some kind of base 64 encoded string. We can go ahead and check base 64 decode, and we can validate whether there is anything which can be helpful for here for us or not. We can just paste it up, we can try to decode. Again, there are things but not that much useful. Here you can see there is some set of string and those kind of things, name and type and hash and all of those things, right? So basically this is some kind of reference which is available, not that much useful. Many times in my project I have seen in this kind of encoded or basically this kind of values, and there I have found the admin credentials as well. Okay, so basically again, some of the applications we might not be able to find at all, some of the applications we find very much sensitive details. Okay, so this step is also the thing which we will be doing on every applications which we are testing. There are normal URLs which is Microsoft and Wikipedia and those kind of things. Typically there might be the reference links to them, so not that much useful for us. Here you can see the application is there. It is saving some kind of data in this kind of files, which is PK3 files. So later on we might be able to look into that. And there is some kind of backup which is stored. We will be looking into the backup files as well, because in backup file, whether they are storing the encrypted data or plain text data, that is what we need to look at. For example, in this machine or in this application itself, there were multiple users, right? What if I am able to see other users' data in backup files, right? In clear text. I don't need to even log in or authenticate myself to see the data. Again, that is a very critical vulnerability. So those kind of things we'll be looking at later on. So those specific type of things will be checking, validating whether there is anything which can be found within the system or within outside of that system, right? The IP address and those kind of credentials which can be helpful for us, and we will look into do those specific things as well. Definitely, if you're finding some specific type of this kind of details, like some kind of strings or hash strings and those kind of things, right? We will try to decode it, and we will see whether there is anything which can be helpful for us or not. Here you can see public token, but public token is not that much helpful. If there is something like private token, much more helpful for us, because that is very sensitive for decryption of the data. Public tokens are used for encryption, so not useful for us at this point of time. Again, the similar things are getting available. All the functions and all of those kind of things are there. So basically, not that much useful, but yeah, this is how we will be able to review it. And again, now those specific data has been started, right? So definitely now all the rights and all the copyrights and all those information is there. So typically this is how we will be able to review this particular strings file, and basically we will be validating whether there is anything which can be helpful for us or sensitive, which will be able to report us, which will be able to report or not, right? So those kind of things will be validating at that point of time. Any doubts, any queries in this test case? Anyone? Yes, Kunal.
No, Buddha.
No? Okay, okay. Okay, so this is our third test case. Now, our next test case is to go forward and validate what actually the process is doing within our system. Now, what happens is many times, as we have discussed previously, right? Application will be doing many things within our system which we might not be aware of. It might be dealing with the registries, it might be dealing with the files, it might be creating some of the files, it might be updating some of the files, it might be doing many functions within our system. But whether it is doing those specific things securely or not, right? That is what we need to validate. And to do that, we'll be utilizing one of the tool called Procmon. Procmon is again one of the tool from official Microsoft sys internals itself. What actually it will be doing is it will be going forward, and it will be monitoring each and everything which a specific process is doing. For example, if here I want to monitor my process of this thick client application which I am testing, I will be able to validate the same thing. Whatever are the steps after execution of the tool or of that particular software, whatever are the things which it is doing, everything will be shown to us, and we'll be able to analyze what actually are the things which are available. Now again, the tool link and everything will be given here. So definitely you can go ahead and you can download it. What we'll be going forward and we'll be doing is we'll be first of all executing the same thing, and we will first of all have an introduction how actually the tool is working up. And then we will see the application, we will execute the functions within the application, and we will see whether there is anything which is helpful for us, which tool is doing or not, right? So basically we will just open that tool, and typically here you will be able to see all the processes which are working within the system. So now you can see we have opened this tool from seconds, right? And if you see below, there are loads and loads of events which are generated, almost 2 lakhs events which are generated within few seconds, right? Because all the processes it is monitoring. It is here you can see Explorer has read one of the files, few of the files. There is one process called ls.exe. It has done something. CTFmon has done something, right? So likewise, what actually we'll be getting? We'll be getting the process name, the time of when that particular thing was available. So here you can see 9:44 second and something, the exact time, the application, the process ID, what function it has been doing, right? Whether it was reading the file, opening the file, whether it was checking for the registry keys, right? Closing the file, whatever are the functions or operations which has been done, right? That particular thing will be done, will be shown up, where actually it has done, and what actually was the result, right? Whether it was success, whether it was not found, right? Whether it was unsuccessful. Okay, whatever are the things which are available will be shown to us. For example, here there was some of the process which has taken up the registry key. So where actually that registry key was available and whether it was found or not, and those kind of things. Here there was read file function, and likewise. Okay, so whatever are the operations which are done, by any of the applications. For example, here I was not knowing my OneDrive was running up and it is doing many things within my system, right? So basically the process ID and those specific type of things, and typically it is going through many of the folders, and it is trying to look for some specific type of files, and likewise, right? So definitely that is how we will be able to see. Here you can see write file is also there. So OneDrive is trying to write something into this particular file, and it was successful, right? So typically we will be able to go forward and see all these particular things for our thick client application as well. We will be checking what actually are the things which it is doing, whether it is updating some of the files or whether it is reading the files. We'll go ahead and we will understand what actually are the files which that particular application is dealing with within our system, and we can say check whether there is anything sensitive in those files or not. Typically, how actually those things will be working. Normally, what happens is whenever there is the client application, there might be some type of configuration files like CFG, right? Where there might be some specific set of data, right? Either there might be some data to connect to some external services, right? The database and those specific type of things. There might be many of the configurations which will be available, and there might be some of the configurations which we might find very sensitive. Okay, the database URLs, database credentials, database IP addresses, all of those kind of things will be there, right? All the web server details and those kind of things will be available at that point of time. There might be some specific type of backup files which it might be dealing with, right? Where the backup of the application or user's data might be stored, right? It will be dealing with those specific files. We might be able to check for those specific files whether the backup and those kind of things are stored clearly or whether they are stored in a secure manner or not. There might be those specific files where there might be temporary files or temporary folders, and that particular files, it might be storing some specific type of temporary data until the application is closed, right? And whether there is any kind of sensitive data or not. For example, if there is any kind of notepad application, right, something like this, whenever I'm writing, it might be storing some kind of temporary place, and when I am storing that particular data as a user, I might be able to enter some specific sensitive data, right? If it is stored in the temporary folder, definitely the sensitive data will be exposed, right? So those kind of things will be there. So this kind of files will be the files which application might be dealing with. We will be looking into that file, where exactly it stores that file, because we are having a good amount of system where there are loads and loads of folders, right? We cannot go ahead and check each and every folder whether it is dealing with this file or not, right? Those kind of things. So basically we will execute the application, we will see whatever are the files which it is dealing with, we will go ahead and we will check what actually are the data which is stored there. So what we will be doing now, we have started the monitoring part, and you can see within few minutes there are 3 lakh of events, right? But we don't want all these events. We are specifically focused on our client application events, but still we will not be able to find those events because our application is not in an execution mode. Once we execute it, we will be able to get that particular data. So now what we'll be doing is basically we will go ahead with all these particular things, right? What we are going to do is we will execute our particular application. So now I will be going forward and executing my application, and we will conduct all the functions which are available in the application, right? For example, I will be doing the login here, right? I will do the login. I will try to log in and we'll see what all are the functions which is available. So basically I will go through each and every function so that this thing can be populated, right? And later on we can review the same thing. I will just click on few of the options. I will try to include some of the functionalities, something like that. I will go ahead and I will go to other functions. I will try to add some specific type of things. I will try to search something. I will go ahead and I will try to end this task or edit the task and those kind of things. I will try to update or modify the passwords and all those specific type of things we'll be doing. And at last, once we are done with that, typically what we'll be doing is we will just close it out, right? Where we can just stop that particular thing as well. So for example, we will close out. Now, what will be happening till now is till that particular time where we were executing those things, it was doing all the functions within our system. And the same thing has been monitored by process monitor here. So let us see whether those specific things are available or not. So there are many of the other particular um, other applications and tools which are opened here, right? So definitely we will be able to find loads of those specific details, but we will be able to go ahead and see. Now what we'll be doing is, as there are loads like for almost 6 lakhs of events which are available, what we'll be doing is we will go ahead and we will filter out. So we'll click on filter. Here there will be this option which is called filter, right? We'll click on that filter and we will filter out with the process name which is available. Typically there will be multiple things which we can filter out, right? But that is specific for the other persons, like the malware analyst and all those people are also using this particular tool for their analysis. So they might be having those specific things, but for us, we will be going for with this one, which is process name is, and we will enter the exit process name. What can be the process name? The name of the executable file is the process name. So here, this is the one. What we will do is we will not manually type anything. We will just copy this one, the name. We will go to our process monitor. We'll paste it here with the extension. Don't forget the extension. Otherwise, it will not be able to remember anything, like filter out anything. We will enter the name .exe. We will add it. We will apply it. And here you can see it should be showing the include, right? And we will click on OK. So now you can see out of somewhere around 7 lakh of events, there are 7,000 events which are available for this tool itself, right? So here you can see the time, which is 9:46, which where at that point of time only we had opened that particular tool. And basically there are other things which is available, right? Which it has done within our system. So for example, when it was started, typically it has started the process, then it had created, and then it had loaded that exe file, then it had done something, right? It had read some file, then it had gone forward and checked something of the registries, it had created some of the things, it has done some of the images, it has loaded some of the images and then closed, and all those specific activities has been done. So there are lots and lots of activities which will be available here. We are not interested in all of them, right? Because typically there will be loads of things which will be going on in the backend when it just is doing, it is showing us the pop-up, right? If it is showing us the pop-up, right, then also it has to go forward with many steps. It has to go through that particular DLL files. It has to load the DLL files, and then it has to go forward and save that particular things in the registries. And the same thing we will be able to see, and that particular pop-up we will be able to see at that point of time, right? So very simple step will contain for these applications many steps in the backend, right? And we are not interested to see all those specific things. We are just interested to see what all are the files which it is dealing with within our system, right? So at that point of time, there is load image, there is here, if you focus on the operation, there is load image, create and query and close file, and all those specific things are available. What we are going to do is we will filter out with the operation where it is just reading the file, means it is trying to access the file. And basically we will check what all are the files which are available. We'll go ahead and we will go to filter again. We will now this time we will go to the specific the specific operation. Operation is, and operation should be read file. Here you can see read file, right? So basically read file. We will enter read file. We will click on add, apply, and we will click on OK. So now here there is pretty much the events are in that much amount, right, which we can typically go ahead and see as well. So basically there are 2,000 events out of 7.5 lakh of events. Now here you will be able to see many of the files which it is dealing with, but the system related files, right, those specific files are not that much useful for us. For example, there is this file which is having system32, right, which is the operating system file, which it will typically use to go forward and show us the pop-ups, right, close the window, open the window, edit the files and those kind of things. So this kind of things we do not want. The things which are having system32 and those kind of things, or it contains this kind of .NET framework or Microsoft .NET framework, those kind of things we don't require. So we can just ignore those kind of things. We require those specific things which are other than that. So either you can just enter the filter to filter out more, or you can just skip it ahead and you can just scroll down, right? Anything will be fine for us, and we are good to go. So here you can see still it is just dealing with all the operating system details itself. Here you can see Windows assembly and those kind of things. Still it is dealing with those kind of things. If it is creating some specific type of file and those kind of things, at that point of time it will be able to go forward and get the details. So again, .NET and Microsoft Windows .NET and those kind of things it is taking. There is one file which it is taking up, and here you can see it is having success, and end of file is this one, which is 𝗏𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗃𝗏𝗃, which is a configuration file. So it is dealing with that particular file. So we will be going forward and we'll be checking what actually are the details which are available in that particular file. So we will go to that path. Either we can manually go to that path, or I can just right click on this and we will click on jump to. What it will do, it will just open that path and highlight that file for us in case if there are lots of files. So here you can see this file is highlighted. What we'll be doing is we'll be right clicking on this particular file. We will open with Notepad. Notepad, I will just disable this one, and basically we will open and we will see what actually are the details which are available. So here you can see there is the data source where the database is there, but still there is no specific IP address or internal URLs and those kind of things. Here there are many things, but actually play sound and email and deleted and those functionalities are only available, right? And there is, if we go ahead and if we check here, the parameters are there, something like username and confirm deletion and those kind of things, but any value is not there, something like the user details or the user ID or user password and those kind of things, right? So typically this file does not contain any of the sensitive data. What we'll be going forward and we'll be doing is we'll be going to next particular files. Again, here you can see there are the Microsoft and those operating system level folder and files are available, right? So we will just skip out on those specific things. Again, Microsoft and assembly and .NET and those kind of things. We'll be looking out at other particular files which are specific to this particular application. So we will scroll down until our particular file is coming up. So here you can see there is another file which is 𝗏𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗃𝗏. Now we are not sure what actually this extension is, and it is going forward and it is doing many things into this particular file, right? See, here you can see the same file is available and there are many of other things which are done into that particular file. What we'll be doing is we'll just go forward and we will jump to that particular file and we will see what actually are the details which are available. We will right click on that. We will open with Notepad. We will click on that and we will click on OK. And we will see what actually are the details which are available here. So at that point of time, here you can see there are lots of details. Here you can see the file is containing so many things. What we'll be doing is the same thing which we had done previously. We will first of all search and then manually review it. Let us go forward and let us enter pass and we will check whether there is anything related to password or not. And here you can see what actually here it is. Basically, there is the details, something like the user ID, the name is administrator, initials, email ID, and encrypted password is available here, right? Whether it is what actually is the role of that, whether it is active or not. And typically, if we scroll down and if we see, there is another user as well. So here you can see this is the another user. But anyhow, we had made that account inactive, right? So here you can see inactive is true, but at that point of time there was no specific password, so password was not available. But likewise, if we had set up the password, that the password of other users also will be linked here, right? Typically this kind of information should be in an should be not available in this kind of clear text file, or this file should be encrypted and later on used by the application itself. But here everything we are able to see in this particular type of format itself, likewise. So this is how we will be able to go ahead and check for this particular files, and we will be seeing that what actually file that application is doing, what are the things which it is dealing with, and based on that we'll be looking into those specific configuration files and all the other files which it is creating and dealing with, and we'll be checking whether there is any type of sensitive data or not, likewise. So
Okay.
yeah.
I have one question, like,
Yeah.
for the desktop-based application,
Mhm.
because currently we have created our own username and password, like admin.
Correct.
As this application is installed on my machine,
Mhm.
okay, so I'm able to see, that's okay. But related to the other user, also
Mhm.
miss what I want to say is like, whatever settings I have done for my application, those settings I'm able to see in that file. So I
Mhm.
think that is, there is no security kind of, threats, I mean, because whatever I'm able to see on my machine,
Mhm.
because it is not possible for the attacker to get a hold of my machine, yeah, through malware or through some other
Correct.
techniques they can do it. But if you see, like, the threat kind of factor which I see is
Correct.
low
So
or the medium.
if you are having your users details or itself, right, then it is fine. But here, if we had seen that particular file, right, there was the details for all the users, so that is the threat,
Hmm.
right? If you are
Yes.
having, if you have your client's application where you are able to see only your application, your users details, and not the other users details, it is very
Hmm.
much okay, right? Because
Hmm.
there is no again, that will be a threat, but it will be a low level threat. But here, if we go ahead and if we check, basically, we are getting the details of other users as well. So typically here in this scenario, I have not set up the password for other users, right? Or basically they
Hmm.
have not set up their own password. But at that point of time, here you can see the password field is there. Okay, and how we are having the password for admin. If that password were available, it will be populated. So that is the main reason there
Okay.
as an
Hmm.
admin, or basically as a normal user, if this file will be publicly available, right? Because any of the user will be the machine where it is installed, this file will be available, and any of the user can see the passwords and all the details of other users as well.
Other users. Okay, and is there any recommendation, like, where to store such kind of file? Means encryption is the one way.
Correct.
Okay, and while encryption also, because there are multiple algorithm for the encryption.
Correct.
So which encryption algorithm we should
AES
suggest?
256 or AES 512 encryption they will be using.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. So this was the next step for our particular information gathering. Now our next thing will be to go forward and gather the information over networks, that what all are the protocols which are being used, but that we will be doing in our next session. Let me just quickly share this PDF with you guys in case if you want to practice it um, after the session. So you can go ahead and you can do that. And yeah, that is all for today's session. And then we'll be joining our next session. We'll be going forward with our next all test pieces. But any doubts, any queries, anything, guys, till now?
No questions from my side.
No questions? Okay.
So, Keval,
Yeah.
you have conducted API penetration testing. I think,
Yeah.
2 years back, I have joined your session. So, anything
Okay.
advanced coming? Because what happened is that in my organization, actually we have this DAS tool, NetSparker,
Mm-hmm.
and NetSparker also perform, dynamic application penetration testing for the API.
Mm-hmm.
But, what do you suggest? What kind of other kind of controls we can implement? Means we are performing a DAST, we
Mm-hmm.
perform the SAST, IAST, everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, if
Mm-hmm.
anything is missing, if you see, like, even though we have this DevSecOps and continuous integration, continuous delivery kind of thing, on
Correct.
top of that, for API, what kind of things we can implement?
Similar things only. There is no specific extra layer because the main things will be our SES, DEST, and IAST, right? All the things are covered up. Then there is no specific extra requirement for that one. Definitely, you will be having the WEF, right? So
Yes,
that will be there. So all the things are covered up here. There is no specific extra thing which will be
extra
available.
things.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And what about the governance part in this case?
Governance, it will be specific to what data you are handling. So, for example, if you are handling the PII data or you are handling the credit card or debit card details, based on that, that particular framework will be implemented. But the requirements for all those frameworks will be different, right? For example, PCI DSS, right, which implements to those applications which are storing credit card and debit card details. So typically they will be having that we want this kind of encryption to be installed and we want this kind of DMZs to be stored, right? All the three servers should be in separate DMZs and they should be having this kind of connectivity, all those things. Again, if you see, compare the same requirements with HIPAA, there will be some different setup. So based on whatever are the data which that application is processing, transmitting and storing, the governance or the compliance, right, will be different and that requirements you need to follow.
Okay, okay, got it. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Any doubts, any queries, anything, guys?
𝗏𝗏, still we didn't get the. I think you can stop the recording. It's a general question only.
Yeah,
From
just
your
1 minute.